Welcome back to the Fully Forgiven podcast, The Teen Journey. I'm Aubrienne Haughton, your host of today's episode 17, almost at 20. I'm very excited. So, I think at episode 20, I'm going to start this new thing where I'm doing Bible study. It's going to be the study of Matthew, and we're going to just start there in the New Testament. I'm very excited for that. And if you have any suggestions about other random topics that you want to talk about, just comment in the comment section and let me know. So this episode is when God steps in and creates distance. So this is something I've been sitting on for almost a year. Sometimes God can step in and create distance between us and certain people. Not just friends, I'm talking about close people, family. People you assumed would always be there. And honestly, that's one of the hardest things to wrap your mind around. Because we grow up hearing that family stays no matter what. You forgive, you push through, you deal with it. But nobody talks about what happens when staying starts to cost you your peace. I think that's where a lot of us get stuck. We know there's something that feels off. We know that we feel uncomfortable. But we feel guilty for even thinking about separating ourselves. Like if we step back, we're being disloyal or dramatic or unloving. And I used to think that too. But God started showing me that He cares way more about my healing than He does about you maintaining a connection that keeps reopening wounds. And here's the thing. There are times when nobody has to explain who a person is to you. Nobody has to expose them. Nobody has to bring you screenshots or stories or warnings. God just shows you. And it's not loud, it's not messy. It's actually very calm. You just start seeing clearly. You notice how you feel after talking to them or even about them. You notice how how tense your body can get. You notice how your peace just disappears. And at some point, you stop asking questions because you already know. Clarity is not you being cold. That's God being involved. This actually connects back to what I shared in my shedding season episode. Separation is going to happen. It just is. And that doesn't mean something went wrong. Sometimes it means something finally went right. Not everything that falls away is meant to be carried into your next season. Some things were only meant to serve you for a moment. And once they've done that, God removes it. And I want to be honest here, I've lived this. This isn't just a theory for me. I had to set a boundary with a close family member before, and I didn't do it dramatically. I didn't argue. I didn't go back and forth. I just set the boundary. After that, we stopped talking. And it shocked me how fast it was, like, just snap. But it also showed me something. When you choose peace, not everyone is willing to stay. The separation happened really quickly. I went on a trip, and when I came back, everything felt different. Looking back, I can see that things were already shaky before I left. It was disappointment after disappointment, and I kept telling myself it was fine, but it wasn't healthy. But while I was on that trip, something shifted in me. I felt calm, actually calm. I was tired. I was kind of ready to have some peace and go back to like regular life, just slow down. But I was already overstimulated, but I was calm. I wasn't overthinking. I was not anxious. I was just present in the moment. And instead of that peace being protected, it was disrupted. Not in person, not face to face, but mentally. Stress, chaos, pressure. And that's when God made something very clear to me. I shouldn't be breaking down over something that's meant to build me up. That sentence stayed with me. Because why am I losing sleep over something that claims to love me? Why am I constantly drained by something that's supposed to be safe? And honestly, once that clicked, I was okay with the separation. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I could finally see it clearly. Setting that boundary didn't move me backward. It moved me forward. It protected me. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders that I wasn't meant to carry at my age. And I want to say this, separation does not always mean forever. I'm not saying I'll never have a relationship with that person again. I would love restoration one day. I really would. But restoration is not something you force. It's something that God has to do for you. If God wants that person back in my life, it will be with growth, with accountability, with real change, maybe even an apology. And it will happen in His timing, not mine. I'm not going to undo what God is doing just to avoid feeling uncomfortable or like it's a responsibility that I have. Because every time you try to reconnect with someone, God has clearly removed, especially after you've set a boundary, you're often working against the very protection God put in place. And I think some of us need to hear that. If God is separating you from someone, no matter who it is, family or not, you have to realize and know the relationship was unhealthy. Let it happen. Stop fighting the shedding. Stop reopening doors God closed just because silence feels unfamiliar. It's okay to be alone for a season. It's okay to be separated from family members. It's okay if someone you thought will be there forever isn't anymore. That doesn't mean you failed. It means God is making room for new things. And sometimes making room looks empty because it looks just, it's the unknown. It might look unpleasant and lonely and sad, but it looks so much better. You have to go through a process before your life can be filled with these things that God needs, that God is putting in place for you. So if God restores what was separated, it will be because it's safe, it will be healthy, it will be aligned. Until then, trust Him in the distance. Trust Him in your shedding. It's happening, and that's okay.